Hey everybody, welcome to part 2A of the Speed Bead Hitch series. 2A because I want to elaborate and clarify some things in part 2. But first, let's quickly create a Speed Bead Hitch for those of you who are watching it for the first time. Keeping the working end of the cord on the right hand side of the standing end of the cordage. Voila! We have a Speed Bead Hitch, which enables us to rapidly adjust the size of a lanyard by pulling on the cordage or pulling on the bead. Okay, now let's talk about some things in part 2. We will discuss the bead, the cordage, and then the knot created by the two hitches and the bead. First, the bead. In part 2, I was talking about longitudinal channels milled out in the beads, but I didn't explain why I was talking about that. And this is a Cogent Industries G5 titanium bead, and we can see that Cogent in this particular bead has these longitudinal channels milled out. This is called the revolver bead because this bead looks like the cylinder of a revolver, and it has 6 longitudinal channels milled out of the G5 titanium. So because there's an even number of channels milled out, you will be able to get the cordage to slip into the recesses created by the channels. This gives you a very nice, neat, tidy appearance to the Speed Bead Hitch. So you don't have to have longitudinal channels. A Speed Bead Hitch will work on any bead in terms of functionality. Again, it depends on a combination of the cordage diameter and the inner diameter of the bead, but any bead will work, but some beads will look possibly better with a longitudinal channel. In the Cogent lineup, we have the grenade bead, which we looked at in part 2, which looks like the surface texture of a pineapple grenade. This has 7 longitudinal channels, so it won't be as symmetrical. Then we have the boxer bead, which is, this is the trident bead. It has 3 longitudinal channels. This will not be ideal for a Speed Bead Hitch in terms of its look and appearance. And then we have a boxer bead, which is 4 longitudinal channels, and that would actually give us a nice symmetric appearance for our Speed Bead Hitch as well. So that was, I wanted to elaborate on the longitudinal channels and why they're a good thing for Speed Bead Hitch in terms of appearance. Now the cordage. The cordage is from countycom.com. Before I forget, cogentindustries.com, all one word, the word Cogent, then industries.com. Those are the purveyors of these G5 titanium beads. Very nice. So countycom.com, the word county, then the word com, the letters COMM after county, countycom.com, produced this 3/32 of an inch cordage, which works really good with the beads, either from Exotac that we talked about in part 2, or the Cogent Industries beads. And Cogent Industries beads, their website says that the inner diameter of their beads is approximately 0.2 inches. And that is, you know, a very good diameter for doing this application with the 3/32 of an inch cordage. You can see how easily the bead slides along the speed bead configuration. Also, if you're concerned about this coming off, you can, you know, always do a stopper knot as you like by just, you know, very simply and doing something like this, and shape that knot up so it looks a little bit nicer. And then you've got a stopper knot in your speed bead hitch. But really, it's been my experience that you know, the usage of the speed bead hitch doesn't put you in a position where you're going to be losing your bead, especially if you give a little bit of a longer tail. Okay, going back to the cordage, sometimes the cordage, depending upon the type of cordage, you may have to remove the inner core. This particular cordage I used as is, right from countycom.com. I did not need to remove the inner strands or the inner core of the cordage. Okay, the other thing, anything else about the cordage? No, that's pretty much it. Also, these beads are set up to either accept one or maybe two strands of 550 paracord, and I need to do some experimentation with paracord, and I'll report back in another part in terms of how it performs with the speed bead hitch. I'm not sure yet at this time, but we will definitely be doing a speed bead hitch video on 550 paracord. Okay, so that's it for the cordage. Now let's talk about the knot. So I may have gave you the impression that the speed bead hitch, the knot created by the two hitches and the bead, is difficult to remove rapidly because you have to, you know, as I mentioned, make an offset of the two ends and then get a running start and pull the bead off. But actually it's not that hard, because what we have here, just wanted to show you that when you're finishing off the ends of your cordage, if you cut the cordage on a bias, meaning an angle like this, if you cut your cordage off on a bias and do your heat treat on the end, you get a very nice taper on the end of the cordage. This one I cut on the bias, and this one I cut straight across, and you may not be able to tell, but when I cut straight across, I had to spend more time trying to get a nice tapered end to the cordage. When you have that tapered end, then you really don't have to you know, do an offset. So if I even these up a little bit and then adjust my line a little bit more, then we can see you do have to take a little bit of force, because what will happen is as these ends go through the speed bead hitch, as they get towards the bottom here, they're going to want to turn to go around as they wind their way out, and they may get stuck, like when you get this little bit of a bend, because it's harder to bend. See where the heat treat, the end is a little bit stiff. So you do need to get a little bit of a running start, but you don't have to do the offset when you got these tapers. You just pull it off. So you didn't have to do an offset to pull off the bead. So you can really spill or loosen the speed bead hitch very rapidly. And then, as in contrast to the part two of our series, this is the exact cordage that I use. I did this on purpose. On this, finishing off this end of the cordage, I made it a little bit like a bead itself. It's a little bit fatter. And this one I sort of did with a taper. So I just wanted to demonstrate how, if your beads are finished off like this, you'll probably want to do an offset before you take the bead off, because when both of the ends are traveling back through the bead at the same time, they may get stuck. Okay, well, those are the things I just wanted to clarify for you. I mean, it's rarely sort of minutia, if you will, but if the Speed Bead Hitch application is something that you're interested in, this will help you in setting up your beads and the various techniques that you need to make using Speed Bead Hitches as efficient and as effective for you. Okay, before we close, we want to point out again our little friend here, the Sunshine Products USA.com titanium toothpick, which is a great pointer in our videos, and is also a great toothpick. And as you can see, it helps us set up our Speed Bead Hitches. Great little device if you want something thin, pointy, strong, and small. Okay, take care everyone, and be looking for part 3. Bye-bye.